Republican senator from the great state of Kansas and member of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, Senator Roger Marshall. Senator, are you here? Good to see you. There he is.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I hear you loud and clear.
Great. Good to see you. Let's talk about one of many things. Last night, good night for former President Trump as endorsed candidates. Although it's not perfect, what does this foreshadow coming up in November?
Well, certainly there's nothing but great news coming from the polling all across the nation, but why wouldn't there be? If you think about every election is about the future and it's about voter turnout. As we think about the issues going on right now, the top two issues, the open southern border and the price of gasoline and groceries. So that's an easy question. If you're President Donald Trump and you're ready, you can point to your record and say, look, I closed the border, inflation was 2%, the economy was the best of your lifetime. What can Joe Biden point to? And then I think that those shirt tails of Donald Trump are going to be large in many of the congressional districts in the state as well. So I couldn't be more optimistic. And then the turnout part of this next election, look, every time the judiciary system weaponizes and goes on fire on offense against Donald Trump, it just emboldens all of us to get out and support Donald Trump as well. So I think we're going to do well.
Senator, also, you mentioned our open southern border. I know you're on the Homeland Security Committee. So I want to get your reaction to one of our biggest stories today, those 8 suspected terrorists with possible ties to ISIS who were arrested. They seem to waltz right in through our southern border in 2023, and there are claims from Alejandro Mayorkas that their background checks came out completely clean. That seems hard to believe. What more are you learning about this developing story?
Well, this is the tip of the iceberg. Think about the 2 million known gotaways that have come into this country under Joe Biden. How many of those people were terrorists? What we know is if the Border Patrol sees more than 1,000 people per day, they're overwhelmed and they're not able to do an adequate background check. But what type of background check can you do on the people coming from these rogue nations? There's not like you can go to the FBI data bank and check these people out. So it's no surprise at all to us. This is why we need to secure our borders. This is why Donald Trump is going to get reelected, that we need a sheriff in town that cares about securing our borders. Director Wray, FBI director, saying, look, all the lights are blinking red right now. There's a reason, and this is just part of the puzzle.
Yet the president doesn't act. He took that one little executive action down there at the southern border. Doesn't really do much. The president's number one job, Senator, protect us, protect Americans. And now we're hearing about ISIS. Former President Trump had degraded them basically down to nothing. Now we have 8 members back into the country. I think this is a major issue, and this is really bad for the Biden administration.
Yeah, certainly there's hundreds of more terrorists just like these that are in this country. In addition to that, you had the Chinese cartel, and the Chinese triad and the cartel here with organized crime throughout the country. You have Joe Biden aiding and abetting it. His policies, this last executive order, actually just emboldens the cartel. He's actually making them richer because of this process, because of this executive order as well. Joe Biden, he has the responsibility on his shoulders of the 225,000 Americans that have died from fentanyl poisoning on his watch as well. And this is why Biden's numbers are falling every day, and this is why Donald Trump's numbers are coming up.
Speaking of numbers, Senator, you're on the Budget Committee, so I did want to get your thoughts on the latest news. Inflation has increased prices by nearly 20%. We know it. We all feel it since Biden took office. But many on the left are now claiming the economy is doing great. It's just that stubborn voters refuse to believe it. We're also learning that the Fed is forecasting 1 interest rate cut this year, but that percentage still remains extremely high for inflation. But again, this administration, the Democrats, continue to spend.
Yeah, so inflation is cumulatory in the sense that since Joe Biden took office, gasoline is up probably close to 50%. Groceries are up about 20%. The average Kansas family is spending $1,000 a month more for those basic necessities of life. And why? This inflation is a result of Joe Biden's policies. His policies that include increased taxes, increased spending, increased regulatory environment. All of those are leading contributing to inflation. We're printing money up here, and there's no sign of it stopping. So much of this stimulus money under Joe Biden is just now hitting the streets across the nation as well. So you're not going to see inflation slow down until we, the federal government, stop spending so much money, and you're not going to see interest rates come down until they have confidence that the federal government is going to stop spending more than we're taking in.
All right, well, I'm not going to hold my breath, but hopefully that's coming soon. Senator Roger Marshall from Kansas, thanks so much for joining us as always. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.